better as a person, too, caring for your mind and spirit, as well as your illnesses and injuries. Because at St. Mary's, we're committed to more than just medicine. St. Mary's Healthcare System. High-level care. Higher-level caring. Visit stmarys-health.org.
The preceding has been an exclusive presentation of WKLY Sports. We thank you for tuning in and being a part of Hart County football on WKLY Radio and WKLYradio.com. Tonight's game has been sponsored by
Strickland Funeral Home, McGee Heating and Air, Dairy Queen Brazier, Hart County Board of Education, Gilton Morris Associates, Ed Murdoch Superstores, Johnson Heating and Air, Modern Tire and All Terrain, North Georgia Credit Union, Bowers Flooring Company, Hart EMC, Scratch and Dent Appliances, Franklin Insurance Agency, HTC, The Home Depot of Hartwell, Clayton Homes of Toccoa, Emmanuel University, St. Mary's Healthcare System, and Phillips Appliance and Plumbing.
Keep it locked in to FM 104.1 WKLY Radio. WKLY is Lake Hartwell's radio home for the Hart County and Georgia Bulldogs.
It's time now for the Bonnie McDonald Remax Classic High School Scoreboard Show. Presented locally by State Senator Lee Anderson, Hill Insurance, State Representative Alan Powell, Burrell's Law Office, Red Clay Properties, Suburban Propane, Purina of Hartwell, Adams Building Supply, Jeff Brown Country Financial Insurance, Tri-County Chevrolet, Lake Hartwell Contractors, and by Bonnie McDonald Remax Classic. Stay tuned as the Scoreboard Show begins right now.
Hey football fans, this is Bonnie McDonald with the Sold Squad at Remax Classic. As a wife and mother of 5, I completely understand the importance of finding the perfect place to call home. It's my passion to help growing families plant their roots right here in our Bulldog Nation. So forget the stress of buying or selling a home, get in the game, and call Bonnie McDonald with Remax Classic at 706-982-4978.
From our family to yours, go Dogs!
Senator Lee Anderson and his family and staff are proud to serve the great people in the 24th District of the Senate of Georgia, consisting of Hart, Elbert, Lincoln, Oglethorpe, Tolliver, Wilkes, Richmond, and Columbia counties. He is also proud to support all area high school athletics. If you ever have a concern, you are welcome to contact Senator Lee Anderson by calling his office at 404-656-5114 or email him at lee.anderson@senate.ga.gov.
At Hill Insurance, we are a family-owned business, so we take pride in helping families with their insurance needs. We provide insurance solutions to the residents and business owners in Georgia, representing many insurance companies to best meet your needs for home, auto, boat, and general liabilities at the best possible prices. Call Matthew Hill or Morris Cleveland for a quote at 706-717-3125 or stop by our office at 161 East Howell Street in Hartwell. That's Hill Insurance.
Suburban Propane, formerly Drake Gas, invites you to join the Suburban Propane family. That means you'll receive the same great service from employees you know and trust, still serving you from Royston, Hartwell, Elberton, and Lexington. Plus, you'll enjoy easy payment plans, online account access, and emergency support. Now is the best time to call and take advantage of our fall fill-up and tank installation specials. Call us today at 706-245-6111. That's 706-245-6111.
Welcome, everybody, to the Bonnie McDonald Remax Classic High School Football Scoreboard Show. I'm Lee Blackwell, your host. Joining me tonight, as always, is my dad, Coach Terry Blackwell. And answering the phones for us tonight is Tressa Blackwell. If you'd like to get in, talk to about the game that you went to tonight, that number to call is 706-376-3363. Once again, that's 706-376-3363. And Dad, your Hart County Bulldogs coming up on the losing end, going up against the number 1 ranked team in the 3A to single A private classification, Hebron Christian Lions, by a score of 54-10, and a lot of penalties, on the offensive side of the ball with false starts and stuff that you're supposed to be able to fix. And Hebron Christian had the stellar athletes that they have. Just took it to Hart County, and unfortunately, after coming off that big win last week, Hart County kind of falls on its face this week.
Well, the problem, the problem with parts of that is, we first of all, it's emotionally. Last week was a great win, and sometimes it's so hard to turn that into 2 great wins. And when you got people that can make their own roster every year, and they recruit, it's going to be tough to go into their place and make a handful of mistakes and stay in the ball game. They got speed, they got size, they play hard, and they won the state last year, and they're planning on doing it again. So when you come in their house, it's a tough thing. And I know that, our kids, as they said at the close of the post-game show there, everything we want to do is still in front of us. You win out and you're number 2, which will probably get you a pretty good spot in the playoffs. But we got work to do. There's some awfully good teams left to play, and, we got to play better. Injuries are starting to concern me a little bit, but it's just one of those nights. I mean, it was really tough to be as emotionally high this week as you were last week and be on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to some more of the Region 8 AA games from tonight, the other private school in our Region 8 AA, Prince Avenue Christian, bounces back in a big way. Playing at your own home field does that sometimes, but Prince Avenue bounces back in a big way against Stevens County by a score of 55-17, looking like the team that would be about the only team that could challenge Hebron Christian in the region title or the state championship until Hart County knocked off Prince Avenue last week.
Yeah, and again, I know it's like a broken record or like I'm kicking a dead horse or something, but traveling on the road in football is the toughest thing to do, and just maintain that same level that you always want to maintain, because, man, it's just tough. If you go into another guy's house, you can get yourself beat on any given Friday night. And last week, Hart County had everything fall right into place and played well at home, and then you go down there against Hebron in their place, and they're number one, they're aware of you now. They didn't maybe not think too much of a 1-4, 2-4, whatever our record was at that time. But when Hart County beat Prince Avenue, Hebron noticed it, and yet they played that way tonight. They wanted to run out and get way out away from them and cruise the rest of the night. That's what they wanted to do, and they pretty much did it.
Absolutely. And then the other 2 teams out of Region 8 AAA, Franklin County travels down to East Jackson. Both teams a surprise team, both coming into the night 5-1 in the region. And Franklin County was able to come out with a big victory at East Jackson by a final score of 34-7, moving Franklin County to 6-1 on the year, 1-1 in the region. And East Jackson record drops to 5-2 on the year and 0-2 in the region.
Yeah, that's another great big statement by the Franklin County Lions program up there, and that's a tough victory to come by down at East Jackson. They've had some good teams in the last few years, and hats off to them. It's going to be a big clash between them and Hart County coming up before too long, and they've still got to go through, I think, both the private schools. So, we'll see how it all turns out. They're a really good football team. Got a big running back. They run the option wing tee mixture of option and wing tee, and they have some 2 really good rush ends, and they got a really good middle linebacker, makes a lot of tackles, and they got a lot of good stuff going for them. So it'll be interesting to see how it turns out later on through the year, but that's why we play the games, and it just makes life interesting.
Absolutely. Region standings so far for Region 8 AA, with the win tonight, Hebron Christian, of course, 2-0 in the region, but there's a 4-team tie for second right now at 1-1 with Hart County, Franklin County, Stevens County, and Prince Avenue Christian. And then East Jackson, that's at the bottom of the region standings at 0-2. There's a 4-way tie, but 3 of those teams Hart still has to play, or 2 of them. All 3 of them is Franklin, Stevens, and East Jackson that they have left. And Franklin County or Hart County's got a real good shot, I believe, at the quote-unquote, as Coach Mike Edwards used to say during basketball season, the public school region championship. And it's like you said, they got everything right in front of them. They just need to maintain and stay the course and don't let tonight affect them into 2 weeks when they get to play again.
Well, that's the thing, and you can't let one loss turn into 2 or 3 losses. If you do, it's just not going to work out well. But I think that I think we come off the bye and play Stevens County. I'm pretty sure it's at home. I don't count. I don't know if that's right or not. I hadn't looked at the schedule that close, but you got to win that one. And if you can win the first one, really you're in a 3-game playoff right now, starting the week after this bye week, and you just got to put the throttle on the floor and go full steam ahead and get it done.
Pulling up the schedule for Hart County, on October the 17th, their next game will be at home against East Jackson. And then the following Friday on the 24th, it'll be Stevens County here at Hart County in Herndon Stadium. And then on the 31st, Halloween night, Hart County travels to Franklin County. That could be a scary Halloween top night game there.
Yeah, they don't tell what kind of spirits will be flying around that place. I'm telling you, if we're tied at that point in time of the middle school or the public school region championship, as Mike used to say, it's going to be a wild one. That's going to be a good one up there.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and take a break here on the Bonnie McDonald Remax Classic High School Football Scoreboard Show. When we come back, we'll hit all the other scores from the state of Georgia and upstate of South Carolina here on WKLY.
You care about every detail, and so does Purina. Every ingredient in their pet food comes from trusted sources, and every ingredient has a purpose. Whether that purpose is to provide just the right nutrients your pet needs or a flavor they will love, Purina has over 250 recipes made without artificial flavors or preservatives for you to choose from. You're sure to find something both you and your pet will love. Learn more at purina.com/cares.
Looking to build your dream home or transform your space? At Lake Hartville Contractors in Hartville, Georgia, we bring your vision to life with high-quality construction you can count on. From custom homes and renovations to additions and outdoor living spaces, our craftsmanship blending beauty and functionality. With years of trusted experience, we're here to make your project stress-free and tailored to your needs. Phone 706-436-3441 today or find us on Facebook at Lake Hartville Contractors. Your dream project starts here.
State Representative Alan Powell is proud and honored to serve the people of Hart, Franklin, and Madison counties and the General Assembly by representing their views. He is always available to help any citizen with their concerns and needs. State Representative Alan Powell is a lifelong citizen of this area, and he knows that his job is to be there for you, and he always will be. That's State Representative Alan Powell, serving the people of Hart, Franklin, and Madison counties, and a proud supporter of the Hart County Bulldogs.
When you need a law firm that is equipped to handle your personal injury matter, you need the Burrell's Law Office. The Burrell's Law Firm focuses on personal injury, workers' comp, and automotive accidents. Call 706-356-0518 to set up your free consultation. With offices conveniently located in Livonia and Hartwell. That's 706-356-0518. Burrell's Law Office. Nothing else than excellence.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Bonnie McDonald Remax Classic High School Football Scoreboard Show. And we were going to get into some local scores, but at this time, we have our first caller. Calling in for Hart County is Coach Brooks Mewburn. And Coach Mewburn, we appreciate you calling in and giving us a update on how the game went tonight for Hart County.
Yeah, guys, first of all, I just want to really my main reason for calling just to say I appreciate what you guys are doing for high school football in the area. And I can remember leaving the field house in 1989 in my old Mustang and listening to Ted Taylor, and, long gone are those days. But I appreciate what you guys are doing for high school football. And I enjoy getting in the car every Friday night and turning you guys on. I'm not quite back in range yet, but I know I'm getting close. But it was a tough game tonight. I'll just be honest with you. There's nobody in our region that's going to compete against Hebron. Let's just face it. Those guys are good. They had a little bit of turnover from last year. The head coach that was there for 3 years had kind of built that up with getting his guys in. They won it last year. And then, I told people at the beginning of the year, that guy left for a reason because he was at Eagles Landing. He built the program, winning championships, did the same thing there at Hebron. And then, they had a lot of guys to replace, but they've obviously replaced them. They're a really good football team, really fast. It's kind of a tough night for us, but the good thing is we got coming out of playing the region first 2 games, playing those private schools. We split with them, which was a big win for us, I feel like. But we got a chance now to kind of heal up. We got some bummed up ankles. Got to get ready for East Jackson. Got a couple of games at home. The next 2 games are going to be real big, guys.
Hey, Coach Mubin, how we going?
Coach, how you doing, man?
Hanging in there. Hey, it's tough to get as fired up as the team did last week, and they pulled off something that quite honestly not many people thought they could do. And you went through the 2 toughest teams, and you're 1-1 with that. And then to follow that first game up with that highs of the highs at home, and then to get on the road and go down there and face a made-up roster. Let's face it, they go get what they need. And a lot of speed, a lot of size, good athletes, and things go bad early. It's just kind of hard to recuperate from that. I think the kids played hard, but you get behind the 8 ball sometimes. It's hard to make it happen.
You do, and you said it best, Coach. It's and you see it at every level of football. You come out, you're at home, you got a lot of energy. The sideline last week was it was just a blur. It was a buzz. It was unbelievable atmosphere. One of the biggest. I heard you guys comment on it's one of the most recent, biggest home victories we've had in the region in the past few years, really. And it was electric. It really was. And, to have to go on the road in a place like Hebron, you got homecoming, everything's kind of out of whack. And, our fans are great. Cheerleaders did a great job. The band was enthusiastic, but at some point in time, you got to create your own energy on the sideline. And, our kids played hard. They played hard. We coached hard. It's just, we're outmanned a little bit tonight, obviously. But, it's hard. It's hard to get it back up another time like that, especially when you're on the road and when you got to create your own energy down on the sideline. It does make for a tough night, especially when you playing people like, Hebron Christian.
Yes, sir, Coach Mubin. I have a little bit of an inside skinny on you. I got to watch you motivate the kids back when Steve Burton used to play, and then when Steve Burton became a coach, y'all used to motivate together. After taking a loss like this, and you're getting a week to heal, going into the next 3 games, what are you coaching? What are you trying to do to the team to try to get them pumped up for the last 3 games?
Well, you got to have short-term memory in the game of football, whether it's play to play as a defensive back. You get burned one play, you got to come back and play the next play. It's kind of like that with your team. And your dad remembers. I remember coaching with your dad, and I remember just very. I can remember losses that they hurt at the time, but like you learn from. You get a chance to come back home, and you get a chance to be in front of your home crowd, and you got to block out the rest of the season. Right now, you just got to focus on the next game, and so. For us as coaches going into a bye week, there's a way to handle that. You got to really you might give the kids a day off. I think the kids may have Monday off. The coaches may be going in to break down film or whatever. But, it's a chance kind of middle of the year to kind of get locked in and kind of refocus. But you can't get them thinking about the last game of the year or Stevens County. I believe next we got maybe East Jackson at home in 2 weeks.
East Jackson is next.
So you really just got to focus on one game at a time. We Coach Blackwell, you said it best. I think at the beginning of the year, even though the season gotten sideways a little bit after the Elbert game, if you'd have said after the first two games against these two privates, since you beat 500, I think everybody in the room would probably raise their hand and say, "Hey, let's take it and let's roll with it."
Yeah.
So we're in a good shape. We just got to get back to the field house. We got to get healthy, got to get treatment, and then we got to get a good game plan for, East Jackson. They started out hot, and then, they started fading a little bit. Franklin put it on them pretty good tonight, I think. But just got to focus on one game at a time. You can't get looking down the road and thinking about this and that. You really just got to take care of business. And our schedule this year really lines up to where, we've got 2 out of the last 3 at Herndon Stadium, which is huge. And, I hear what people say about different teams and all, but, at the end of the day, I think Franklin's probably a little better than they have been. I think Stevens, they lost that running back to Tulane. I think they had a senior quarterback that left, but Stevens County, they'll be tough. They'll be coming into our house in 3 weeks. But right now it's the Eagles of East Jackson, and we got to focus on. I think if we do that and just take them one at a time, we've got enough cattle on this football team to make a run and get in playoffs. And potentially, you going into that last week with, possibly a home playoff spot on the line,
Yeah, that's what we've been talking about off and on during the game. Me and Lee been sitting here talking a little bit about it and some thoughts about it, and we always laugh because Coach Mike Edwards used to say in basketball, he'd say, "Now we get to play the public school portion of our schedule."
Yeah,
so
that's right.
if we can win the public school region championship,
right,
we're going in as the number 2 in the playoffs, and I think that's a great accomplishment for these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. You got a great opportunity in front of you, and really, you got all your goals at the beginning of the season. You obviously want to be region champions, but Hebron's kind of got a leg up on that right now. But you do have a chance, to continue to play and get in the playoffs. That's a goal. And then when you get into the playoffs, our goal should be every year, is to make a run at it. To make a deep run at it. And being in a public school like Hart County, we don't get a lot of 6'4", 250-pound move-ins. We got the kids that come up through our rec, and we're thankful for that. Those are the kids that we want. The kids that want to be here, that grew up here, that's the kids we want. And if we do that, we feel like every, 4 or 5 years, you're gonna have a chance to make a deep run at it. And so I think the last time we did was probably my son was a senior, 2019 team. We had a really good team, went third round, and probably could have beat GAC with another field goal or so. But these are some good kids, really hard-working kids that grew up here, and I've seen play in the rec league, and I'm thankful that we got these kids here, and I know that Coach Dixon and his staff will get back to work on Monday and get them ready for East Jackson in a couple weeks.
Absolutely. Coach Mubin, we appreciate you calling in and giving your insight. Don't be a stranger. Call in as much as you can after the game and give us your report. We'll take a report from anybody.
Every week.
We'll do it. Hey, appreciate what you guys are doing, and I always look forward to listening to you, and go Dogs.
Absolutely, go Dogs. Thank you, Coach Mubin. That was Coach Mubin from Hart County School Systems. We appreciate him calling in. I'll tell you what, that was such a good interview. It took so much time. We're going to go ahead and take our last break of the first hour, and then when we get back, we'll get into the scores. We'll tell you who done what, where, and how they're looking in the region. Everybody in Georgia's in region action play, with the exception of a couple. And then South Carolina, the upstate of South Carolina, starts region play tonight as well. And we will get into that and start painting the picture for the region championships for each one. Because like Region 8 Division 1 Single A, they're in their third game already this year. So, but all that will be after this first hour comes to a close. We'll see you on the other side of the Bonnie McDonald Remax Classic High School Football Scoreboard Show on WKOY.
Have you tried Tri-County Chevrolet? is Grant Meyerholtz, and I'm thrilled to be a part of the sales team at Tri-County Chevrolet. I welcome all my customers from Hartwell and the surrounding area, and I look forward to meeting new faces. So, if you're looking for a new Chevy or a quality pre-owned vehicle, see me or one of the other hometown folks at Tri-County Chevrolet, Highway 29 in Royston, and online at tricountychevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Locally owned businesses are a big part of our community. If you're a business owner, I'd be proud to protect what you've worked so hard to build here in Hartwell. I'm Jeff Brown, your local country financial agent. I'll make sure you have the right coverages so you can protect what you have today and build for the future. I'll also give you quick personal support when you need it most, whether you're filing a claim or asking a simple question.
Hey, Siri, take me to Jeff Brown's Country Financial website.
Commercial insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Senator Lee Anderson and his family and staff are proud to serve the great people in the 24th District of the Senate of Georgia, consisting of Hart, Elbert, Lincoln, Oglethorpe, Tolliver, Wilkes, Richmond, and Columbia counties. He is also proud to support all area high school athletics. If you ever have a concern, you are welcome to contact Senator Lee Anderson by calling his office at 404-656-5114 or email him at lee.anderson@senate.ga.gov.
For all of your real estate needs, see the team at Red Clay Properties. They specialize in properties from Metro Atlanta to the North Georgia mountains, offering single-family homes, condos, and townhouses, acreage and farms, land lots, multifamily, and commercial property. With offices in Hartwell, Commerce, and Jefferson, they can surely find the property you're looking for. So for all of your buying or selling real estate needs, see broker Alan Powell and his team at Red Clay Properties. Go to redclayproperties.com.
Covering Hart and Franklin County with great music and entertainment. We're FM 104.1 and AM 980 WKLY, Hartwell.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Bonnie McDonald Remax Classic High School Football Scoreboard Show. I'm your host, Lee Blackwell. Joining me tonight is my dad, Coach Terry Blackwell. And answering the phones for us tonight is Tressa Blackwell. Once again, that number is 706-376-3363. 706-376-3363. Please give us a call. Give us a report on your football game that you was able to attend, and we will gladly talk to you about it. At this time, we're going to go ahead and hit some scores. Let's go ahead and hit Northeast Georgia scores, Region 8 AA. We've already hit them one time. We're going to do it again. Hebron Christian 54, Hart County 10, Franklin County 34, East Jackson 7, Prince Avenue Christian 55, and Stevens County 17. Now let's get into Region 8 Single A Division 1, Rabun County. A little bit of a battle there in Tiger, Georgia tonight. It was a little bit closer than what this score indicates, but it's Rabun County 55, Commerce 28. Commerce still looking for their first win and fought valiantly there and falling down at the end there against the Rabun County Wildcats. Athens Academy takes care of business against Banks County by a score of 49-0. Elbert County 43, Providence Christian 9. Those are the three games tonight. Off tonight for Region 8 Single A Division 1 was Oglethorpe County, and they will host Rabun County next week. Region standings for that division right now: Elbert County 3-0, Athens Academy 3-0, and Rabun County 3-0. Providence Christians 0-2. Oglethorpe County is 0-2. Banks County 0-2, and Commerce is 0-3. So it's a very clear split line there in Region 8 Single A Division 1.
Yeah, it's pretty evident who the top three are, and if I had to rank them, I'd probably go right now before the games are played. I'd probably go Athens Academy to lose. Rabun can beat them. It's kind of even right there, and just another step down is Elbert. So I'd say they are truly the top three teams. and we'll see how they play out because anybody can win, and it'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting, especially the Elbert versus Athens Academy and Raven versus Athens Academy. If somebody can beat them, then it's anybody's ball game.
Absolutely. Moving to Region 8 AAA, we had Monroe area traveling to Jefferson, and Jefferson was able to come away with a victory by a score of 22-7. Oconee County hosted East Hall. Oconee County winning that game by a score of 28-14. And then Cherokee Bluff at home hosting West Hall took care of business by a score of 54-15. Region standings for that region: Jefferson and Oconee tied at 2-0. Cherokee Bluff 1-1, Monroe area 1-1, and East Hall and West Hall both are at 0-2. Looks like a Jefferson-Oconee County matchup for the championship there, and I believe they're an October 31st matchup as well.
I think so. A lot of big games going to decide region championships toward the end. Cherokee Bluff started out a little bit slow. They're coming on now. Oconee County started with a couple, but they played hard games. So they lost a couple of games early, but they played hard teams. So, a lot of people are going to lose to North Oconee, and that's one of Oconee's losses. And look, man, that's a good football team. This region right here is going to be up for grabs. It's going to be a shootout for sure.
Absolutely. Moving on to Region 6 AAA this week. They are in their third week of region play. But there are 4 teams out of that. Well, no, let's see. 5 out of the 7 teams were off tonight. The only game in that region was Dawson County at Johnson. We do not have a score on that one. But right now the region standings in that pending the Dawson and Johnson, and both of them are 0-2 in the region. And you said you had the score on that one?
Yes, 41, Dawson 41, Johnson 0.
Okay, 41-0. So that moves Dawson to 2-4 on the region, 1-2 in the region. 2-4 on the year, 1-2 in the region, and Johnson goes to 0-6 on the year and 0-3 in the region. Leading the region right now is North Hall GAC. They're both 3-0, and guess what? That matchup's next week at GAC. That ought to be a battle of heavyweights there between North Hall and GAC.
No doubt. Them in Lumpkin County, as we've said before on the show, that those 3 teams right there is gonna come up higher on the shuffle. Now, if you ask me who number 4 was going to be, I have no clue. We'll see how they play out, but I think that depending on how strong GAC is this year, but North Hall is pretty daggum good. So I don't know. We'll see how it turns out, but it's going to be a battle in that one as well.
Absolutely. Other games in that region next week is Johnson at Lumpkin County, Chestatee at Pickens. Pickens 2-1 in the region as well. Took a defeat last week to North Hall. I believe they're still a viable option for third place with Lumpkin County. And then White County will travel to Dawson County next week. Moving on to Region 8 4A. Eastside travels to Walnut Grove. Walnut Grove undefeated on the year, 5-0. Eastside was 3-3 on the year, and guess what? Eastside took care of business against Walnut Grove by a score of 34-6. Giving Walnut Grove their first loss of the year. North Oconee hosted Madison County. Of course, North Oconee done what they always do, moving to 7-0 on the year by a score of 35-6 against Madison County. And then East Forsyth traveled to Cedar Shoals. Cedar Shoals was looking for their first win of the year, and after tonight, they are still looking for their first win of the year as East Forsyth took care of business by a score of 21-14. Moving East Forsyth's record to 4-3 on the year, 1-2 in the region. And off tonight was Flowery Branch, their record 5-1 and 2-0 in the region. So leading the region for Region 8 4A is North Oconee. They're 7-0, 3-0 on the year. And then we have Flowery Branch at 2-0, Eastside 2-1, Walnut Grove 1-1, Cedar Shoals is 0-3. Madison County is 0-2, bringing up the rear of that region right there.
There's a couple of strange things about this region that strikes me. First of all, tonight's game between Eastside went into Walnut Grove and won, and Walnut Grove was undefeated at this point, and they laid 34 on them and hold them to 6. That's huge. That just kind of shows me that in this region, anywhere in between, anywhere except for all these people mentioned on here that's not named North Oconee is got a chance to be number 2. So it's just going to be wild. I think it's North Oconee and then everybody else in this region, but everybody else is pretty even. Anyone could win on any one Friday night. And, I just remember back when Hart County lost to Madison County. Madison County looked like a senior laden team that was going to do some things, but when they get into region play, it kind of changes the whole dynamic.
Absolutely. Let's move on to Region 8 5A. We had Loganville traveling to Winterboro. Winterboro, no problem with Loganville. Moving Loganville by a score of 49-8. Loganville drops to 0-7 on the year. Winterboro 4-4 on the year. Appalachia traveled to Jackson County. Jackson County had no problems by a score of 67-0. And then Habersham went to Clark Central and took care of business pretty handily by a score of 43-22. And the only team that was off tonight from Region 8 5A was Alcovey. They will be traveling to Habersham Central next week. So region standing wise, Habersham Central and Jackson County both tied at 3-0. Winterboro is 3-1. Clark Central is 1-2. Appalachia's 1-3. And unfortunately, Loganville and Alcovey are both 0-3 and 0-2 respectively.
I hear you, Hab Central. That's a pretty good show for them tonight. Clark Central's, I think, down a little bit from what they used to be and normally are, but still, you go in there and you lay it on them pretty good. That's impressive. I think it's a Hab Central, Jackson County, and the rest of them just kind of a hodgepodge of how they're going to end up. It's all in how they play. The Winders starting to hit their pace too. So I'd say the top 3 is probably going to end up being Jackson, Winder, Hab Central in some order.
And I also believe that the Habersham Central Jackson County, if they can maintain and hold course, I also believe that is also an October 31st Halloween matchup. I'm telling you, that October 31st matchup is going to come away with some region championship games that is going to be pretty fun to watch as a high school football fan.
How in the world are me and you going to be able to attend all these games and be here too? I mean, it's going to be fun.
I haven't figured that out either as well. The other 2 teams that we carry and focus in on is Morgan County and Gainesville. We don't do full region standings for them, but Morgan County's out of Region 2 AA, and they traveled to Rutland, and Rutland was undefeated, and they're still undefeated. They put up some points, but they gave up even more points. It was Morgan County 60, Rutland 27. Morgan County goes to 7-0 on the year, 2-0 in their region, and Rutland drops to 0-6 on the year and 2-0 in their region. Morgan County looks primed and ready for a deep playoff run. They just keep winning football games.
They always do. Every year. I don't care. Every year. They're going to win their share of the games, and they're going to be right in the thick of their region play. I guarantee you they'll be right there.
Absolutely. The other team we follow, Gainesville, out of Region 7 5A, moves to 5-1 on the years. They travel to Seckinger, not Secklinger.
That must be a new high school. I don't even know.
It's pretty new, I believe. But Gainesville took care of business 41-14, moving their record to 5-1, 2-0 on the year. And Seckinger is 3-4 on the year and 0-3 in that Region 7 5A. And that Gainesville, the only team that they lost to was Powerhouse Carrington.
I'm going to say.
They're primed and ready to go for a deep playoff run as well.
They're loaded. I mean, but when you get to 4A, 5A, 6A in that area of schools, they all got dogs. They all got kids that can play. And Gainesville's no different. They got speed, power, you name it. And the coach moved in there, and I've tried for 3 or 4 weeks now to remember his name. He came from Alabama, but he's a multi-state champion in Alabama.
Yep.
This guy knows how to coach. He's going to always have them ready. And even Carrollton didn't come up in there and blow them out or anything. They lost to them, but it wasn't that bad. So Gainesville's ready to go, and I promise you they'll be there like they always are.
Absolutely. Moving to the upstate of South Carolina, The regions we will be covering now that region play has started is Region 1 AAA, which includes West Oak, BHP, Crescent, Walhalla, and Pendleton. And West Oak traveled to BHP, and BHP, one of the best teams in the state of South Carolina, regardless of the classifications, took care of business by a score of 63-0, moving BHP's record to 7-0 and 1-0 in the region, dropping West Oak to 4-3, 0-1 in the region. Walhalla travels to Crescent, and Crescent putting up big-time numbers as well against Walhalla by a score of 67-20, moving Crescent to 4-2, 1-0 in the region, and Walhalla drops to 0-6, 0-1 in the region. And then Pendleton, that's a 5-team region, so the Pendleton being the odd team out had to go out of region and play tonight. They went to Region 2 for a Travelers Rest. And Pendleton took care of business by a score of 45-20. Pendleton 3-0 on the year, and Travelers Rest drops to 2-4 on the year. Travelers Rest also a part of. Well, let's talk about BHP a little, and that Region 1 AAA right there.
I think BHP is the best team in South Carolina in any league. I don't care who you put them up against in 6A or whatever. I just think they're outstanding. They're never threatened. They're always winning big time and easily. And then I see you, Crescent, with got a D1 receiver over there, and they rolled up some points on Walhalla. Walhalla has been on a run until this year. They've kind of fell off some this year, but Walhalla's been tough. And look at Pendleton beat a 4A school like a drum. I mean, there's some really stout teams over there, and it's going to be a good little matchup. But that's BHP's region to win. I mean, you got to beat them to win that region. It's going to be a hard thing to do.
Yeah, because BHP lost a Division I running back that eventually committed to Clemson, but got dismissed a little bit later on. But he's a D1 prospect.
Yeah.
And it seems like they got rid of him. Well, not rid of him. He graduated, and they've gotten better.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how BHP does it over there in Belton Honey Path.
No doubt. Stout program.
All right, moving on to that Region 2 4A region that Pendleton took care of business in Travelers Rest. It is also a 7-team region. That's why Travelers Rest was playing at Pendleton. But there was 3 region matchups tonight, and that was Blue Ridge at Seneca. And Seneca took care of business there by a score of 47-13, moving their record to 6-1 on the year. They're 2-1 in their region. Blue Ridge goes to 4-2 on the year and drops to 1-1 in the region. Pickens travels to Greer. Greer started the season 0-4. Must have been playing some powerhouses. I need to get into their schedule and find out more for next week. But when region play started, they've railed off 3 wins and won again tonight against Pickens by a score of 60-14, moving their region record to 3-0. And Pickens dropping their record to 1-2, and they're 2-5 on the year. And then the other team in that region, what seems to be primed to win that region again, is Daniel. Had Berea come visit them tonight, and they rolled Berea 56-0. Daniel goes to 5-1 on the year, 2-0 in the region, and Berea drops to 1-5 on the year and 0-3 in that region. So right now, region standing wise, you have Greer at 3-0, Daniel at 2-0, Seneca at 2-1. And then Blue Ridge, 1-1, Pickens 1-2, and then Travelers Rest 0-2, and Berea's 0-3. So it looks like that matchup, whenever that happens between Greer and Daniel, will maybe the region championship, unless Seneca can somehow backdoor their way into a 3-way tie.
Yeah, it's it really needs. I don't know how that's going to turn out, but Seneca and Daniel played last week, and hats off to Seneca for not letting an overtime loss to Daniel cost them the next game. So they just went right back to playing. But yeah, it's going to be tough for Seneca. Seneca, I don't know how they make the playoff things in South Carolina, but Daniel, Greer, and Seneca, one of them is going to be 1, 2, and 3. It's just depends on how it plays out the rest of the way.
Absolutely. Moving on to Region 1 4A, which includes the west side of Anderson. In there, we are missing their score. I had a halftime score on them, and they had a live feed on the FSH network that went away after they done homecoming at halftime. So I'm not real sure what that final score is yet. I haven't been able to find it. Southside was at Westside, and then Lawrence traveled to Fountain Inn. That also game ended at halftime. There may have been some weather over there that popped up, and they canceled the game. I'm not sure. We will try to figure that out as we go along tonight. But the one game we do have a final at was a shootout. It was Emerald at Wren, and Wren won by a score, listen to this, day 45-44, moving Wren's record to 4-2 on the year, 1-0 in the region, and Emerald going to 3-3 on the year, 0-1 in the region.
Can anybody in Wren or Emerald spell defense? I mean, good gracious, what is that?
89 points.
89 points in a high school football game. That's crazy. But hey, you win how you win.
Absolutely, and you'll take them any way that you can get them.
Yep.
For sure. Region 1 5A, the other region that we will follow out of the upstate of South Carolina includes T.L. Hanna, also has Hillcrest, Greenville, Easley, Woodmont, J.L. Mann, Greenwood, and Malden. 4 of those teams are Greenville schools. Hillcrest, it may be a Greenville school as well. And then you have Easley, of course, it's in Pickens, and Greenwood's in Greenwood, and then T.L. Hanna's in Anderson. All very, very good football teams. But T.L. Hanna goes to Hillcrest and was able to come away with a 32-13 victory, moving T.L. Hanna to a 5-1 record, 3-0 in the region. Hillcrest drops to 3-3 on the year, 1-2 in the region. We are missing the Greenville Easley score. As soon as we get that in there, we will update them as well. But Woodmont goes to J.L. Mann, take care of business, come away with a victory by a score of 45-13, moving Woodmont to 2-4 on the year, 1-2 in the region. And then J.L. Mann drops to 1-5 on the year, 1-2 in the region. And then Greenwood goes to Malden and comes away with a big victory as well by a score of 33-10, moving Greenwood to 5-1, 2-1 in the region, and Malden 2-4 and 0-3 in the region. And that region, that's an 8-team region that's just getting going there, Dad.
Yeah, and that's a crapshoot as you look at those teams too, because there's some really good football teams in that 5A classification there around Greenville and Easley in that area over there, and I don't see a one that can't beat the other one on any given night. So that's going to be fun to watch the rest of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and take our first break here in the second hour of the Bonnie McDonald Remax Classic High School Football Scoreboard Show. We'll be back here on WKLY in just a moment.
Hey football fans, this is Bonnie McDonald with the Sold Squad at Remax Classic. As a wife and mother of 5, I completely understand the importance of finding the perfect place to call home. It's my passion to help growing families plant their roots right here in our Bulldog Nation. So forget the stress of buying or selling a home, get in the game, and call Bonnie McDonald with Remax Classic at 706-982-4978.
From our family to yours, go Dogs!
At Hill Insurance, we are a family-owned business, so we take pride in helping families with their insurance needs. We provide insurance solutions to the residents and business owners in Georgia, representing many insurance companies to best meet your needs for home, auto, boat, and general liabilities at the best possible prices. Call Matthew Hill or Morris Cleveland for a quote at 706-717-3125 or stop by our office at 161 East Howell Street in Hartwell. That's Hill Insurance.
You care about every detail, and so does Purina. Every ingredient in their pet food comes from trusted sources, and every ingredient has a purpose. Whether that purpose is to provide just the right nutrients your pet needs or a flavor they will love, Purina has over 250 recipes made without artificial flavors or preservatives for you to choose from. You're sure to find something both you and your pet will love. Learn more at purina.com/cares.
State Representative Alan Powell is proud and honored to serve the people of Hart, Franklin, and Madison counties and the General Assembly by representing their views. He is always available to help any citizen with their concerns and needs. State Representative Alan Powell is a lifelong citizen of this area, and he knows that his job is to be there for you, and he always will be. That's State Representative Alan Powell, serving the people of Hart, Franklin, and Madison counties, and a proud supporter of the Hart County Bulldogs.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Bonnie McDonald Remax Classic High School Football Scoreboard Show. I'm your host, Lee Blackwell. Joining me, as always, is Coach Terry Blackwell, and answering the phones for us is Tressa Blackwell. Once again, that number to call, 706-376-3363, 706-376-3363. And Dad, let's go ahead and talk some more about these scores here. Once again, we had Hebron Christian 54, Hart County 10, Franklin 34, East Jackson 7, Prince Avenue Christian 55, Stevens County 17. Stevens County may be a little not up to where they normally are at this time of the year. They seem to be down just a little bit. Do you think that East Jackson and Franklin and Hart have a chance to finally put them at the bottom of this region by all defeating them, or do you think it's just Hart County, just Franklin? What's your opinion on being able, these three other public schools being able to finally take down Stevens County?
Well, I know it was some kind of a weird happening at the end of the Stevens-Franklin game, and Stevens won right at the end of the game, and Franklin had that game won. So I think they're back with us, like, they've come back down to not being as good as they have been being in the last few years, but they're still good enough to come out and beat Hart, beat Franklin, beat whoever. I mean, they can still play pretty daggone good.
Absolutely. And joining us now is the voice of the Hart County Bulldogs, Benjamin London. Benjamin, we appreciate you calling in. It's very hard to kind of get into the meat and bones of a 54-10 defeat at the hands of a loaded Hebron Christian Lions team. But what was your perspective of tonight's football game for the Hart County Bulldogs?
Well, it's basically what you kind of expected coming in. I mean, obviously defending state champs, they in the private classification, and thank goodness we won't have to see them again. No matter what happens going forward. And, they got a lot of talent, got a lot of guys that come in the system, come into their program. And, it was kind of funny. And I don't think Corey Dickerson meant this towards the end. He's like, but, I don't know if he meant it as a joke, but he had made mention, these next three teams are similar to us. They have players that come from within their own program. So, I think that was, a good laugh to kind of end the night. But he, on the same point, he's right. Buford, they had a Buford transfer. They've got guys that they can bring in anytime they want. It's not to complain, but, I mean, it's just at the point where, I'm going to turn into Mike Edwards here, not before long. Like, when does the GHSA think this is the competitive team, the competitive region? It's not. And, it's obviously dominated by, Hebron Christian this year in football. And, that was just on full display tonight. In the Hart County, they had a really good first drive. They got 3 points out of it, but drove the field very well. But after that point, it was just a dominant performance by Hebron Christian. And, there late, it was the third-string defense where Hart County's Ian Shepard was able to get in from, on a rushing touchdown. So give credit to Ian Shepard getting his first, varsity touchdown of his career. But overall, it was just pure dominance from Hebron Christian. And it really just was no chance for Hart County really after that second quarter where Hebron just kind of ran away with it.
Hey, Benjamin, me and Coach Brooks, Hebron called in a while ago. We were discussing and talking a little bit about, and one thing that I said in that interview was the thing about Hebron tonight, they probably wouldn't have expected as much from Hart County if Hart County had not have beaten Prince last week. And it's like, I believe they approached the game with, hey, we see you, we know who you are, and we're going to come out both guns blazing and try to run out away from you so that you can't do the same thing to us that you did with I think it put more into the game, is what I'm trying to say. And I think their energy was a little higher. And man, when you can fly like those guys can, and when you're playing a roster that you can put anything on there you want to, everything has to go perfect for you. And it just didn't do it tonight for Hart County.
Yeah, that's a great point. You know, when you play a team like Hebron or even Prince, you know, last week it wasn't perfect, but you capitalized on the mistakes that you made. For Hart County tonight, it was almost the complete opposite. When there was a false start, which there were plenty of them, and I know offensive line coach Ben Osborne's going to correct that this week coming in to this bye week. But, you know, the biggest thing kind of moving forward right now is, you know, when things go wrong, how do you respond? You know, last week against Prince, Hart responded by putting some big plays together and piece some things together to be able to get back in the positive range where you got a first down. You were able to go up on and make it a third manageable on a second down in the long play. You know, they were able to capitalize on those situations. Tonight, it was like when one penalty happened, another one followed. And, you know, then it set up what was a 1st and 10 turned into a 1st and 20, a 1st and 15. And you can't have those kind of things happen tonight, especially playing a team like you did with Hebron. You know, it's like what you said, everything's got to go right. And unfortunately, just things weren't going right offensively or even defensively because Hart County missed a ton of tackles tonight. I know at the half, defensive coordinator Recoy Morrison even mentioned, like, I would love to go back and, you know, this was at the half. He would love to go back and mention how many missed tackles that were made or were missed. And, you know, he was saying it was north of 20 just at the half. And I think overall in the game, I mean, it was probably north of 30, 35, and it may have even been 40, you know, and those things you can't happen or have happened against a team like Hebron.
Yeah, let me follow up before Lee has another question. But you've seen them live. You've called both games back-to-back weeks. Is Prince and Hebron the same animal?
Absolutely not.
That's what I thought.
I think the difference between Prince and Hebron and it's two totally different teams. And I think the reason why I say that is because Prince can pull out of Athens, which is a good area to pull from. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but you're competing with a couple of different other schools. Athens Academy, you know, is a good team that, you know, it pulls a lot of players from that area as well. But when you look, I mean, North Oconee is a pretty dominant team, and, you know, they got a good coaching staff. So a lot of guys don't want to really leave North Oconee unless you're not playing. And then, you know, Oconee County's got some good kids too. And, you know, but for the most part, you know, those are Bogart kids. Like you look and see what they're pulling. They're pulling kids mainly from that Oconee County area. They're not really pulling kids from, you know, the other side of Gwinnett County or even, you know, outside of Gwinnett County to come and play for them. You know, and I think that's the thing with Hebron is they have a much larger pool to pull guys from. And like you said, you know, when you can get a guy from Buford to come over there and play as your defensive end, you know, it kind of gives you a little bit of an edge because you know what Buford is and you know what they already have on the field. So, you know, and give credit to them for doing that. I know it's, you know, you could do that at a private level, but when you look and you play teams like Hart County, you know, Hart County's literally playing with the guys that are from Hart County, Georgia. And, you know, you may get a transfer in every now and then, like Elijah Garnett a couple of years ago who moved over from Franklin. But, you know, that's because his dad came over to teach at Hart County. So, you know, when you look at things like that, it's two completely different things. But as to your point, you know, Hebron Christian, as I said on the broadcast tonight, is the clear number one team right now in our region for sure.
Yeah. All right, Benjamin. Looking forward to Hart County's upcoming schedule. They have a bye week, then they host East Jackson and Stevens County back-to-back, and then travel to Carnesville to take on the Franklin County Lions. What does Hart County have to do to win that public school region championship that Coach Mike Edwards so eloquently coined to us during basketball season?
Man, first off, if we're able to do it, I want Mike Edwards, first off, to give me the shirt they got last year. But second, you know, I would like to have something printed and made for this year for football too. That'd be great. But, you know, I think the biggest thing is you got an off week, just get healthy. I think that's the biggest thing that you got to do during the off week. Obviously, Faustino got banged up again tonight. Elijah Garnett got banged up tonight. So, and those are two crucial guys you got to have to be able to finish out the season. both offensively and defensively. So, just getting healthy is the first key thing. And then I think moving forward is just going back to saying, hey, what did we not do correctly, or what did we do right that was so successful that we can carry into these next few games? Because obviously they found some success with Prince Avenue, and they tried to carry it over in some ways, forms, and fashions tonight. But obviously Hebron kind of had it figured out. So what didn't work against Hebron that maybe it worked against Prince that they can kind of take and move forward with against teams like East Jackson? And you got to think about this, and I know you guys mentioned this too. Franklin County beat East Jackson tonight, so obviously they got a bye week next week too before they come to town. And Hartwell, they're going to be fired up, and they want to play. They're 0-2 in region play. They want to pick off a win, and they feel like, hey, a 2-5 Hart County, that's a great chance to do it. So, they're going to be hungry coming into Hartwell, and you got to be careful of that. So, the things with Hart County is just going back, making sure you're healthy, and correcting the things that you could have done differently, and especially the penalties. I think that was one of the biggest things that this offensive line's got to work on heading into that bye week, is just being more disciplined. And I think it's not just them, but it's all across the board as well.
Yeah, one thing, me and Lee already talked about it in here, and I'll mention it to you, and so you can give your little spill on it. But at least we got two of them at home, and most teams are better teams at home than they are on the road. So if we can get Stevens and East Jackson, and then get Stevens, and then go up to Carnesville, it's going to be a battle, but I think we can beat them up there, and we could end up being number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the goal. I think the mission kind of moving forward is, hey, guys, we still control our own destiny despite our loss in region play, because what it works like with the power rankings, and they may even change this going into next year with talks that they're having with the reclassification committee, but the biggest thing is they rank the number 1 and number 2 seeds out of each region based off of where they finish in region play, and they use the power rankings to do so. So if Hart County is able to finish as the region runner-up, which is still a big possibility, this is a great opportunity for Hart County to say, hey, despite what has happened this season, despite being 2-5, you can still host a playoff game. That's a still possibility on the table. And I think if you tell your guys that motivates them to say, look, because this is a junior and senior heavy team, and you look at those guys and say, look, you still have a chance to host a playoff game. They're going to be playing hungry. They're going to play desired, and go out there and play their best, because they know what's on the line. And I think Corey Dickerson and company is going to go over that this week and saying, hey, you still control your own destiny, and that's the biggest key moving forward, is just saying, hey, we want that number 2 seed, and I think these guys want it. I know it starts, with this next game, and really just it doesn't even start then. It really starts Monday with this bye week, making sure you go in and correct on the things. And Corey Dickerson's said this multiple times. This week will be about them, and it'll focus just on them. It won't be about East Jackson and looking ahead. It'll be focused on Hart County and what they can do better to put themselves in position to win when East Jackson comes around in 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Benjamin London, we appreciate you giving us a call. Once again, as always, being one of the original call-in reporters for us, we appreciate you taking your time, especially on your way home, and giving us your information and what you think about tonight's game.
Oh, anytime, guys. Appreciate you guys and all that you do, and look forward to talking with you guys in 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Benjamin London, we appreciate you. And at this time, we will go ahead and take a break here on the WKLY radio network of the Bonnie McDonald Remax Classic High School Football Scoreboard Show.
Suburban Propane, formerly Drake Gas, invites you to join the Suburban Propane family. That means you'll receive the same great service from employees you know and trust, still serving you from Royston, Hartwell, Elberton, and Lexington. Plus, you'll enjoy easy payment plans, online account access, and emergency support. Now is the best time to call and take advantage of our fall fill-up and tank installation specials. Call us today at 706-245-6111. That's 706-245-6111.
Locally owned businesses are a big part of our community. If you're a business owner, I'd be proud to protect what you've worked so hard to build here in Hartwell. I'm Jeff Brown, your local country financial agent. I'll make sure you have the right coverage so you can protect what you have today and build for the future. I'll also give quick, personal support when you need it most, whether you're filing a claim or asking a simple question. Give us a call at our Hartwell office at 706-376-7186.
Commercial insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Have you tried Tri-County Chevrolet?
I'm Larry Jenkins. If you're looking for that small-town buying experience, it's right here at Tri-County Chevrolet. We're the people you see at the grocery store, at church, in the car line, at school. People who are your friends and neighbors. So before you head out of town for your next Chevrolet or pre-owned vehicle, see Tri-County Chevrolet, Highway 29 in Royston, and online at TriCountyChevy.com.
At Tri-County Chevrolet, yeah.
Together, let's drive.
Looking to build your dream home or transform your space? At Lake Hartville Contractors in Hartville, Georgia, we bring your vision to life with high-quality construction you can count on. From custom homes and renovations to additions and outdoor living spaces, our craftsmanship blending beauty and functionality. With years of trusted experience, we're here to make your project stress-free and tailored to your needs. Phone 706-436-3441 today or find us on Facebook at Lake Hartville Contractors. Your dream project starts here.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Bonnie McDonald Remax Classic High School Football Scoreboard Show. I'm your host, Lee Blackwell. Joining me, as always, my dad, Coach Terry Blackwell. And answering the phones for us is Tressa Blackwell. That number to call, 706-376-3363, if you would like to get in tonight. We got about 6 minutes before we have to go to break again, so let's go ahead and do the Pick'em contest from tonight, go over everybody's results and such like that. Had a couple of pretty close, what I would call upsets, a little bit, and it was pretty tight-knit Pick'em here. We got 6 games of high school football tonight. The first one was Thomasville versus Worth County. And I believe that game went into overtime, if I'm not mistaken. And Worth County come out with a 41-40 victory. Me, Benjamin, and Bruce all took Worth County, and then Leland Jones, Coach Terry Blackwell, and Coach Mark took was it Mark Cooper? Yeah. Coach Mark Cooper took Thomasville. So that give us me, Benjamin, and Bruce, 1 win apiece. The next game we had was Walnut Grove at Eastside, and the only one to take Eastside was Leland Jones. And that was because let's pull that score up. It's right down here. That score was Eastside 34, Walnut Grove 6. Bruce, Benjamin, myself, Dad, and Coach Cooper all took Walnut Grove, taking the loss, and Leland Jones got the victory on that one. Next game was Cartersville at Cass. I was the only one to take Cass like a crazy person trying to make up a game, and it bit me in the butt. Cartersville took care of business 56-28, giving a victory for Benjamin, Bruce, Leland Jones, Terry, and Coach Cooper. Next game was Kell at Blessed Trinity. It was a clean sweep for Blessed Trinity for everybody picking, and everybody got it wrong. Kell 3, Blessed Trinity 0.
Wow.
In a defensive battle, 3-0 football game. Kell comes away with a victory there.
That was at Blessed Trinity, too.
It was, and that was a clean sweep loss for everybody. And then the next game we had was Pierce County at Cook. Clean sweep for Pierce County, and there was no upset here. Pierce County come away with a victory. And then the last game for high school that we had was East Jackson at Franklin County. And I was the only one to take Franklin County, as Franklin County took care of business 34-7 against East Jackson. So tonight, everybody, let's see, Bruce went 3-3. Benjamin 3-3. I went 3-3. Leland Jones went 3-3. You see a theme here?
Yeah.
You went 2-4. And Coach Cooper went 2-4. But there's still a lot of football to be played. We still got 4 college games coming up tomorrow for that. But I'm telling you, that Kill Blessed Trinity game,
that's crazy.
I'm shocked at that one.
That's crazy. I've never known Blessed Trinity to win 2 ball games at home in 1 year. They have this year.
You mean lose?
Lose at home twice. Yeah.
And then, man, what a game for Thomasville and Worth County. 40-41. Shootout, 81 points. That's the polar opposite of Kell and Blessed Trinity there.
But it started off so conservative. You kept watching that game, and it was like up 7, back 7, up 7, back 7, and, then it turns out into overtime, and, anything can happen in overtime.
Absolutely. And Cartersville just looks like they're prepped and primed to make a deep run into the playoffs. What are they, 4A, I believe, if I'm not mistaken?
From the Hurricanes in Cartersville. We played 2 playoff games up there. Man, I'll never forget going to that place. Man. So I understand why they win like they win, because their atmosphere is second to none up there at their place. And
right.
Wow. I mean, yeah, they're stout. They're always stout.
We won one there, right? Correct?
We upset them up there and ended up going to Peach County and playing Peach County. I can't remember what year it was, but Coach Gillespie was down at Peach County. And
right.
They beat us on the last-second field goal as the clock ticked off. It went through the uprights, and they went on to win the state championship. And when he come to Hart County, we were talking about it, and he said, "Man, I'm telling you, if y'all had won that game, Hart County would have won the state championship." So, it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you what, there's some pretty good pick'em games there by Leland. He got them to us pretty early this week. He doesn't always do that, but him going on vacation to Tampa, Florida, he got them to us early, and I was looking at them. I've been kind of back and forth on them all week, and I mean, they're such good games. We all went 3-3. That's pretty tough pick'em contest there.
Not all of us, thank you.
Well, 2 and 4 is close enough to 3 and 3. So, but let's go ahead and take another break. This will be our final break before we close out the show here on the Bonnie McDonald Remax Classic High School Football Scoreboard Show on WKLY.
Senator Lee Anderson and his family and staff are proud to serve the great people in the 24th District of the Senate of Georgia, consisting of Hart, Elbert, Lincoln, Oglethorpe, Tolliver, Wilkes, Richmond, and Columbia counties. He is also proud to support all area high school athletics. If you ever have a concern, you are welcome to contact Senator Lee Anderson by calling his office at 404-656-5114 or email him at lee.anderson@senate.ga.gov.
Hey football fans, this is Bonnie McDonald with the Sold Squad at Remax Classic. As a wife and mother of 5, I completely understand the importance of finding the perfect place to call home. It's my passion to help growing families plant their roots right here in our Bulldog Nation. So forget the stress of buying or selling a home, get in the game, and call Bonnie McDonald with Remax Classic at 706-982-4978.
From our family to yours, go Dogs!
When you need a law firm that is equipped to handle your personal injury matter, you need the Burrell's Law Office. The Burrell's Law Firm focuses on personal injury, workers' comp, and automotive accidents. Call 706-356-0518 to set up your free consultation. With offices conveniently located in Livonia and Hartwell. That's 706-356-0518. Burrell's Law Office. Nothing else than excellence.
Honey,
Honey, the deck just collapsed again.
That's the third time this month, Todd. I told you, duct tape is not a renovation strategy.
Well, what do we do now?
We call Flatland Construction and Landscaping. They do it all. Decking, painting, framing, even pressure washing. And they don't take payment in duct tape.
Finally, someone who knows what they're doing.
Call 706-436-3729 for a free estimate today. Also, find us on Facebook.
Flatland Construction and Landscaping.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Bonnie McDonald RE/MAX Classic High School Football Scoreboard Show. I'm your host, Lee Blackwell. Joining me is my father, Coach Terry Blackwell. Answering the phones for us once again is Tressa Blackwell. And now joining us on the telephone is Mr. Steve Burton. And Mrs. Burton, we sure do appreciate you giving us another call this week. Was you able to travel down to the ball game tonight?
Yes, sir, I was able to travel down. Just now getting service to hear y'all's talk show tonight.
I got you. Would you please turn down your radio just a little bit? We're getting a real bad echo, but we would like to. How was the atmosphere down there for Hart County and our Bulldogs?
I'm sorry, Lee. I couldn't understand you.
I said, how was the atmosphere down there for us tonight for Hart County?
Hebron had homecoming tonight, so I got booed pulling in the FFA truck and trailer as I pulled in the parking lot. They had a very electric atmosphere. You know, the stadium's not on the large side anyway, so it looked and appeared to be packed, and but very, very electric. We came out starting strong. Had a few penalties that helped us out in that first drive, and we went up 3-0. They clicked on every cylinder tonight, offense and defense.
Hey, Steve, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked the last caller. Between Hebron and Prince Avenue, is Hebron the man?
Oh, no doubt. And I'm sure it'll be a good game. But Hebron definitely, and like I said, everything went in their favor tonight. They were clicking on all cylinders, but I would say Hebron is the better team of the two.
Absolutely. Being the player that you was back when me and Daddy was helping out on the coaching staff and stuff, and you take a loss like that as a player, what are you doing to try to get yourself right for the next, even though you've got an off week, what are you doing the next week trying to get ready for the following game?
I think I said this last week, and I'll say the same thing this week. You've got to remember that everything you need is still right in front of you. So you've got some rivalry games coming up with Stevens, and you got one with Franklin, and we need a big win against East Jackson. So if nothing else, you got to have your dog prize and come up and compete with especially two of those three games. But we need all three, and they're all three winnable games for us. And so we compete and play ball. Playoff is still in our destiny.
Absolutely. And I got one more question for you. This is going to be a little bit different one. You kind of sparked something in me when you said rivalry games. As a player, which was your favorite rivalry game, or the one you wanted to win the most? And then as a coach, did it change? Was it the same, or did it change when you became the coach?
No, I'll tell you, when I played, Elbert was a region game, and I was fortunate enough to normally play Elbert week 7, week 8. I think one time we were even week 10 when we played Elbert. And I remember being a younger, I think a sophomore, and there were bomb threats. We had to camp out at Nancy Hart, which was alternative school one year. So Elbert rivalry game was definitely one of my favorites as a player. And even as a coach, I remember going down to the Granite Bowl and winning the game 6-0. We kicked 2 field goals. And so, just playing inside the Granite Bowl is electric. I think we've lost a little bit of that with Elbert not being a region game anymore, and we play them early. I'll tell you this: I was one of the teams that lost to Franklin my junior year, and so I think we had 17 or 19 consecutive wins until then, and we've made it back to that mark. And I do think Halloween night 2025 is going to be an electric night for football between Hart and Franklin.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
I agree too, Steve. Hey, man, appreciate you hanging out with us each and every week. And always look forward to hearing from you, and just be safe on your way home, brother.
10-4, I heard you talk about that Peach County game. I know who number 50 was that night.
Oh, bad memories or good memories. Good memories, bad memories, something. I don't know what they are.
There you go. I'll see y'all, fellas.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, sir.
See ya.
That right there was Steve Burton calling in and giving us a report. We sure do appreciate that. Let's go ahead. We were at 11:52. We got to be out of here by 11:58. Let's hit all these local scores one more time for you. I'm going to hit them all, Dad, then we'll come back and talk in just a few more minutes. We got Hebron Christian 54, Hart County 10, Franklin County 34, East Jackson 7, Prince Avenue Christian 55, Stevens County 17, Rabun County 55, Commerce 28, Athens Academy 49, Bates County 0, Elbert County 43, Providence Christian 9, and we have Jefferson 22, Monroe area 7, Oconee County 28, East Hall 14, Cherokee Bluff 54, West Hall 15. We have East Side 34, Walnut Grove 6, North Oconee 35, Madison County 6, East Forsyth 21, Cedar Shoals 14, Winderbarrow 49, Loganville 8, Jackson County 67, Appalachia 0, Habersham Central 43, Clark Central 22, Morgan County 60, Rutland 27, Gainesville 41, Seconder 14. Moving to the upstate of South Carolina games, BHP 63, West Oak 0, Crescent 67, Walhalla 20, Pendleton 45, Travelers Rest 20, Seneca 47, Blue Ridge 13, Greer 60, Pickens 14, Daniel 56, Berea 0, Wren 45, Emerald 44, T.L. Hanna 32, Hillcrest 13, Greenville 42, Easley 16, Woodmont 45, J.L. Mann 13, and the final score of the local scores that we have tonight, Greenwood 33 and Malden 10. Any surprises or anything that kind of stuck out to you there, Dad, that you didn't either see coming or that you was kind of impressed that it went the way you thought?
No, I think everything was pretty much on what you would say was going to happen tonight. Not a whole lot of huge upsets. Everything pretty much played by the book, so to speak. And some of the games over there in South Carolina kind of got me going. But anyway, a lot of good football tonight. A lot of good football played all over the state of Georgia and all over the state of South Carolina. And I just hope and pray that all the kids are safe and that nobody got hurt too bad tonight. You don't ever want to hear those horror stories about injuries in football. And football's a fun game. Football taught me a lot, both in playing and coaching. But it's just a blessing to be able to play it and be around it as long as I have been.
Absolutely. And that Region 1 5A in the state of South Carolina, we did get 2 more scores there. So I'm going to update the region standings there because this is their 3rd game in the region. That includes T.L. Hanna. So T.L. Hanna and Greenville are both 5-1 on the year, 3-0 in the region. Hillcrest and Easley are 3-3 on the year, 1-2 in the region. J.L. Mann 1-5 on the year, 1-2 in the region. And Woodmont is 2-4 on the year, 1-2 in the region. Malden is 2-4, 0-3 in the region. And I'm not sure if I mentioned Greenwood, but they're 5-1, 2-1 in the region. So it's T.L. Hanna, Greenville at 3-0, Greenwood 2-1, Woodmont, Hillcrest, Easley, J.L. Mann all at 1-2, and then Malden at 0-3.
Yeah, that's a any one of those things can beat the other one. I'm telling you what, that's really a stacked up region, and it'll be fun to kind of keep up with for the rest of this week. You realize we're down to 4 weeks left in the football season, then we're in the playoffs.
4 weeks and then into the playoffs. That's absolutely true. Any last final thoughts before we get out of here tonight?
Well, I just looking forward to seeing Hart County coming out of the bye week and see how that they can, improve on some things maybe and get on a run here and win the next 3 games would be huge for this football team. And I hope they can get it done. Go Dogs.
Absolutely, I agree. I'm looking forward to Hart County taking on these public schools in their region. I believe they're going to be competitive games in all assets of the game. East Jackson, even though they've dropped 2, they are 5-0 coming in to the last 2 games.
They're going to be dangerous.
They're going to be tough. They're going to be hungry. And then, of course, you got Franklin and Stevens, which are going to be rivalry games, which are going to be a lot of fun as well. Rabun County, they're kind of sitting pretty at 7-0, 3-0. They're undefeated so far this year. It'll be interesting to see if they can continue that. Athens Academy is kind of who they're running down the train tracks towards to see if that'll be a pretty big battle there between those 2 teams.
Yeah, it'll be a season maker or a season breaker. It'll be a good one.
Absolutely. And then of course you got the powerhouse Jefferson and Oconee County. They're also headed down the tracks for a region championship battle. I'm telling you that October 31st first weekend is going to be awesome if everything holds true.
I think you're right. This game after game after game, they're going to go at it on Halloween. That's I don't know if that's a good omen or a bad omen, but we're going to find out in a few weeks.
Absolutely, and that could even set up as Hart and Franklin County. If both of them are able to take care of business, come in and both like 3-1 in the region, that could be a fun game to watch there.
Yep.
All right, that'll do it for us here on this edition of the Bonnie McDonald Remax Classic High School Football Scoreboard Show. We appreciate you tuning in and listening, and we will see you next week.
Thanks so much for tuning into the Bonnie McDonald Remax Classic High School Scoreboard Show. Presented locally by State Senator Lee Anderson, Hill Insurance, State Representative Alan Powell, Burrell's Law Office, Red Clay Properties, Suburban Propane, Purina of Hartwell, Adams Building Supply, Jeff Brown Country Financial Insurance, Tri-County Chevrolet, Lake Hartwell Contractors, and by Bonnie McDonald Remax Classic. For award-winning high school sports coverage, keep your dial locked into WKLY.
With your Friday night weekend, Lake Hartsville weather forecast tonight, a low 54. Partly sunny for Saturday with a high 78. Overnight low 62. Sunday, clouds and sun, a mix with a chance of a shower, 78. Overnight 64 by